Hey guys! Today I am reviewing the Walther PPQ, which I have been thoroughly checking out for the past couple weeks, and I am very impressed with this pistol. If you like other double-action striker-fired polymer pistols like the Smith & Wesson M&P or the Glock 19, I highly recommend looking into this new handgun from Walther because it's got some very unique features, and I was seriously wowed by its performance during my ammo testing and range time. So I'm going to go ahead and safety check this gun for you today to show you I am not using a loaded firearm in today's filming. My magazine is empty, along with all the other magazines you will see in this video. The gun is clear. There's no ammo in the chamber. PPQ stands for Police Pistol Quick Defense, with quick defense referring to its incredibly short 1/10 of an inch trigger reset after firing, which makes for very quick follow-up shots with this gun. The PPQ is based off of the Walther P99, which came out in 1997 and was also in several Bond movies, for those of you who like a little movie trivia. The PPQ has basically the same frame as the P99, except it does have more aggressive grip texturing and slightly better ergonomics because of the swells here on the side of the grip. The standard PPQ was first shown at SHOT Show in 2011 and became available several months after that. But this video is showing the first edition model, which you can see here is stamped on the slide. The first edition model just recently came out and is only available in 9mm, whereas the standard PPQ does come in both 9 and 40. The first edition model costs about $650, which is approximately $100 or $150 more than the standard PPQ. But I do think it's worth it because of the extras you're getting. So I'll go ahead and show you here what the first edition model does come with. The first edition PPQ comes with this very nice hard case from Walther with some very solid metal hinges. You also get your standard safety and instruction manual and a Walther magazine loader. The first edition model has a threaded barrel on it for attaching a suppressor, so there is a spot in the case for a suppressor. The first edition model also has steel night sights, so you also get the 3-dot polymer sights that come on the standard PPQ. You also have 3 different back straps available. You can see this one's marked with an S for small. That's the one I've been using, but there is also a medium and a large, which are clearly marked on the bottom. They're also marked with transponder ID markings, which is so the gun can be scanned for inventory purposes, but there are no actual transponders in US guns. And I believe there are non-transponder marked backstraps available from Walther. The first edition model comes with both a 15-round magazine that sits flush in the PPQ, and also one with a 2-round extension, which is a 17-rounder. The standard PPQ just comes with 2 15-rounders, and the 40 caliber PPQ comes with 2 12-round magazines. So this is how the 15-rounder fits in the PPQ. Nice and flush there. And then you've got the one with the +2 extension. There you are. Sticks out just a hair more. If you go to buy extra PPQ mags, you're gonna find that they're very expensive. It's about $45 for the 15-rounder or $55 for the one with the +2 extension. But I do want to say that they're very high quality magazines made of steel, and they are made in Italy. Walther does say that the newer P99 mags will work in the PPQ, but I do want to show that this mag on the left is a P99 mag that is several years old, and the mag on the right is a PPQ mag. And the front of this older P99 mag is too tall, and it actually touches the feed ramp, so I would not use this magazine in the PPQ. But again, they say that the newer P99 mags will work. Now I'll go ahead and give you guys a parts overview on the Walther PPQ first edition, starting with the slide and the barrel. case you're wondering why it says Smith & Wesson on there, Smith & Wesson is the distributor for Walther in the US. The slide and the barrel are both Tenifer coated, and the barrel has standard rifling. The standard PPQ barrel is 4 inches long, but this first edition model has a slightly longer barrel at 4 5/8 since it's threaded. The barrel threading is 1/2 by 28. It has a thread protector on here, which is really nice, but it has right-hand threading, which made the thread protector shoot loose every time I fired it, which was a pain. I had to keep retightening the thread protector. So I did add Teflon tape to the threads underneath here to prevent loosening. But it is unfortunate that it doesn't have left-hand threading, because I think that would have helped keep the thread protector from shooting loose every time. There's very little slide to frame play on the PPQ. You can hear there. Underneath there is a 3-slot picatinny rail for attaching a light or a laser, which is really nice. It's also a first for Walther to have 3 slots, because the latest P99 had 1 slot underneath, so this is very usable. Just as an example here of a possible light option, this is the Surefire X300. There are smaller lights available that don't stick out as much, but I prefer the X300, and I just want to show it because it fits really tight and snug up against the trigger guard like it was made for it. It really fits perfect. So that's a really nice option if you're looking for a light for this gun. PPQ also has these great forward cocking serrations on it on both sides, which are very helpful for press checking the gun to make sure it's loaded by just barely witnessing your brass inside the chamber. There's also these really nice rear serrations on both sides that are deeper and more aggressive than on the P99s. One thing I love about this gun is the unique trigger guard mag release that is on both sides. It's fully ambidextrous. You can use this mag release whether you're right-handed or left-handed. You can just switch it to your other hand and still release your mag really easily. It's also very low profile, meaning it's in really close and tight to the gun and the trigger guard, so it has very little chance of snagging or accidental mag release. And I found this type of mag release to be very convenient as opposed to the button mag release on the side of my M&P, because I do not have to alter my grip at all to eject the mag with my index finger with this gun. So that's great. There's no magazine disconnect on the PPQ, meaning the gun will still fire without the magazine in it. It also has a fully ambidextrous slide stop on both sides that you can see here. Also very low profile, it doesn't stick out very much, so very little chance of it snagging on anything. There is a loaded chamber indicator window here on the PPQ, but it's very hard to see. In here you should be able to see red when it is loaded, but it is very hard to see when it's loaded. I would much prefer a loaded chamber indicator window like on the Walther PPS or like on my M&P. The Walther P99 that this gun was based off of had a visible striker indicator right here on the back that made it easy to tell if it was loaded. But the PPQ does not have that. There's just the indent here where the striker was on the P99. The PPQ also does not have a decocker up here like the P99 had. The PPQ also has a more gradually curved trigger as compared to the P99. It is very comfortable and it's really easy to get a gloved finger in there. I mostly had gloves on when shooting the PPQ because I did most of my shooting outside in the cold. This trigger has a safety lever in the middle here like Glocks have. I did not notice it while shooting, so I think it's very comfortable. And aside from that trigger safety, the PPQ has no other external safeties or options for one. The PPQ does have a more aggressively textured grip than the P99 had, although it is not as aggressive as stippling. And again, you have 3 choices for backstraps. I have been shooting with the small. In order to switch out to the medium or the large, you would hit out this pin in here, that pin with a punch, and then once the pin is out, you can also attach a lanyard through this point. like I said, I shot with the small backstrap. I have unusually small hands, and the small backstrap was actually still too big for me. The grip on this gun just felt too big overall, which is really disappointing for me because I really do like this gun. Hopefully they would come out with a compact version of the PPQ at SHOT like they did for the P99. If they did come out with the PPQ in a compact version, I would like to try it again, but I will say that the overall grip, even with the small, was too big for my little hands. Everyone else who shot this pistol with me loved the trigger and the overall feel of it, and most preferred the medium-sized backstrap. For me to get a high, full, solid grip on this gun, my finger just barely touches the trigger. I do have to turn my hand a little bit to get my finger in there, and then the gun doesn't line up straight with my forearm. So it's a little bit of an awkward grip for me, but I think it would be fine for most. The first edition PPQ has steel night sights, whereas the standard PPQ has 3-dot polymer sights. The steel and polymer sights are both numbered, as you can see here, which means there are different heights available. I really like how both the sights and the slide are tapered. As you can see here, it sits on the table at a slant because it's tapered. The tapered sights and slide just aim more naturally for me than aiming with a square on top of a square. It helps draw your eyes to your target. Also, the PPQ has a different trigger system than the P99 had, and it also doesn't have the second strike capability of the P99. The PPQ has a very smooth 5.5 pound trigger pull with trigger travel at 0.4 of an inch from rest to fire. So it's almost half an inch, and then once you get to the breaking point here, it's 5.5 pounds pull. So I measured the trigger pull with this Timney trigger pull gauge, and I did it several times, and I always got right about 5.5, sometimes 5 3/16. So it is, I would say it's right on at a 5.5 pound trigger pull. And again, the Q in PPQ stands for Quick Defense Trigger, which is the reset, a very short reset at 1/10 of an inch after you have fired, bringing it back to the point where you can fire again, meaning you can fire faster than normal with this gun. Very fast follow-up shots. And I'm going to show you here after you fire and you reset the trigger. Listen, it has a very audible click when you reset, and it's a very short reset. There it was. And you fire. I love how crisp and audible the reset is. On my M&P, the reset is very sloppy. You can't even hear it reset. Unless I would have a trigger job done on it, but this is the best trigger reset I have ever experienced. Really crisp, audible, and really short. It is awesome. I love how easy disassembly is of the PPQ. First, you just take out your magazine, and of course double check to make sure that your gun is unloaded, which this one is. So after you take out your magazine, you pull the trigger, and then you pull down on your takedown lever and keep holding it down while you pull back a little bit on the slide, just about 1/8 of an inch, and then slide the slide forward. So Just pull down here on the takedown lever while you pull back the slide, and then you can slide it off forward gently. So here is your frame. And then in here you would take out this spring. Blue always faces back. And then here is your barrel. Ridges always go up. You have to take off the thread protector in order to take out the barrel. And then you would put the barrel back in after cleaning and put your spring back in. There is a little ridge in here that you can see, like a little half moon. That is where this rests in. So make sure you click that down in there all the way to put it back after you have cleaned your gun. And then you line everything up very carefully, gently as you pull it back. Wiggle it right around here where it gets stuck at the end. Rack it, pull your trigger, rack it a few times. Here I have made one of my charts for you guys because I wanted to compare the Walther PPQ to some other similar 9mm polymer pistols. Feel free to pause this screen if you want to check it out further because I'm going to scroll a little bit. The Walther PPQ is not quite a full size, but it's not quite a compact either. It's pretty much right in the middle, which is why I put 2 full-size pistols on here for comparison and also the compact Glock 19. The Walther PPQ is closest in length to the Glock 19. It's actually the shortest length of all 4. And the PPQ also shares the same capacity as the Glock 19, which is 15+1. So if you like the size of the Glock 19, you might want to check out the PPQ. Very similar size. The height, although, is closer to the full-size M&P and the full-size Glock, closer to 5.5 inches. But it is shorter than both, making it easier to conceal, although it does hold 2 less rounds. So if you want to check out any of this other information, I do think it's interesting the PPQ is the heaviest of all 4, even though it has the shortest length. And the trigger pull and trigger travel on the PPQ is very comparable to both Glocks. So hopefully you guys find that information useful. This PPQ was cleaned with CLP when it was very first bought, but we have since put 1,500 rounds through it without cleaning or lubricating it after that. Most shooting was done outdoors at -34 degrees, and the ammo that was used was a very broad mixture of various brands, different grains, full metal jacket, jacketed hollow point self-defense ammo, just a whole bunch. I took a picture of all of our empty boxes for you guys so you can see what we shot through it. After 1,500 rounds and not cleaning or lubricating it after the initial cleaning, there was absolutely no malfunctions of any kind. You cannot believe how impressed I was that it performed so flawlessly in such a harsh environment. -34 degrees. I didn't have, that high of expectations for a new gun, but Seriously, not a single malfunction, and just very, very impressive. As for my overall thoughts on this gun, I really, really love the short, crisp trigger reset and also the trigger guard mag release. I also love this pistol's accuracy. It was incredibly accurate, more accurate than I am. I'm going to show you a picture of my target where I was sitting 25 feet away from the target at a bench. It would be nice, I think, if they had this gun in a 45. Maybe they'll come out with that someday. I do wish the grip was smaller so that it fit my hand like my M&P does. I'm definitely sticking with my M&P as my main gun because I love the way that feels in my hand. So if the grip on this was a little smaller, that would be great. Also, I would really like it if it had either a visible striker indicator on the back or a loaded chamber indicator window on top. That was really easy to see. So those are my thoughts, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely check out this pistol if you're looking for a new concealed carry gun or just a home defense gun. It's an all-around great pistol to check out. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.